Should you take a break from intermittent fasting or dieting in general? When? How long should the break be? In today's video, we're talking all about how to find your maintenance fasting and eating windows. We're chatting about why the shortest possible eating window isn't always the best. We're even talking about eating variations and all the tools that you need to continue being successful with intermittent fasting for the long term. I'll also be exposing the signs it might be time for you to take a dieting break. We've got a lot of great content to cover, so let's get into it. When you should consider taking an intermittent fasting or a dieting break, and the signs that might signal it's time for you to take a break. We're discussing why the shortest possible eating window isn't the ultimate goal, and we'll look at the math and the science that back it up. Plus, we're chatting about how to find your maintenance window and adjust your intake for sustainability. We're all familiar with the narrative of starting a new diet or a new way of eating and going all in, only to burn ourselves out and crash and burn after a few months. There's also this misconception that once you start a diet or a new way of eating, you've got to stick to it without a break until you reach your goal. By taking a break, and by a break I mean working towards a maintenance intake and a more flexible fasting eating window, sustainability wins over intensity any day. Are you noticing decreased adherence to your eating windows or your fasting windows? Are you sneaking in little bites or tastes and not actually opening your window? Are you overlooking your ideal fasting start and stop times, and your windows have become more like revolving doors and the timing is just sporadic? You might need to take a break. Has your fat or weight loss stalled and there's been no movement on the scale or with your non-scale victories like measurements or how your clothes fit? It might be a sign that you need to take a break. If you're having strong cravings, your brain and your body might be sending a signal that they need a break. Is your exercise performance decreasing? Are you no longer enjoying the process but you're just grinding it out? It might be time to pause and regroup before pressing on. Are you starting to feel cranky or in a bad mood around food or any events that involve food? This is definitely a time to consider taking a break. Are you just exhausted by the process and feel like quitting altogether? If you're ready to throw in the towel, it is time to take a break. Eating in a new way or following new guidelines around food uses a ton of mental resources, especially in the beginning. So anytime you're changing behavior or creating new habits, it's helpful to give yourself a little extra patience and a little grace. You can always take a break and you can always rest, but don't quit and don't give up. Trying to cram all your eating in during the smallest window possible for as long as possible is not the ultimate goal. So eating at a 22-2 or even a 23-1 is not the goal. Often, if you narrow your eating window too small or make it too short, say 2 hours or 4 hours, you don't have enough time to eat enough meals in the day to too low of a calorie deficit. So the goal is to use intermittent fasting in our eating windows as a sustainable tool to help us build new habits and learn to reprogram our behaviors around food. Variation in taking breaks will help restore overall wellness. It helps us sustain our fat loss and our weight loss progress while allowing us to consume more food and more fuel. The longer eating windows during a break or during a maintenance period helps maintain our overall results. It might be helpful to look at an intermittent fasting break or any other dieting break as a caloric rebuild. The goal is to extend the eating window so you can take in more fuel, so you can work your way toward a higher maintenance intake without gaining weight. So if you've successfully lost weight and now need a solution to maintain that weight loss while eating more, it's time to eat at maintenance. So in intermittent fasting terms, this means it's time to widen your intermittent fasting eating window and allow in more calories. Well, over time, our metabolism adapts to weight loss. So that means our deficit calories will soon become our maintenance calories. And then in order to lose more weight, we'll need to decrease calories again to become in a deficit. And if you keep going in that way, we can't live in a perpetual decrease in our calorie intake. At some point, we'll reach a caloric intake that is too low, and we don't want to damage our metabolism or undo all of our hard work. So allowing yourself breaks to eat into a wider window and spending time eating at a maintenance level of calories will allow you to gradually eat more while allowing your metabolism to adapt to this increased food intake without weight gain and without sabotaging your progress. So how do we do this? Start small and go slow. Remember in the beginning, we weren't going from a 16-8 eating window to a 20-4. We didn't do this in a week. We worked very slowly. So you want to increase your eating window by 1 hour every 3 to 4 weeks. The goal is to eventually have a window that resembles 18-6 or 16-8 or even a longer time frame. You could also consider just intuitively eating. You want to monitor how you're feeling, both energetically and physically. Remember, it is not a free-for-all to keep eating for that extra hour. You want to listen to your body and its hunger and satiety signals. The goal is to eat to sustain muscle mass. So if you're counting calories, this might look like an extra 100 to 150 calories during that hour, or you could also disperse those calories throughout your entire eating window. As you gradually add more time to your eating window during this break, you want to add another 100 calories for every hour that you add to the eating window. Be sure to continue tracking your progress and measuring things to ensure you're continuing to see results. You can always reset to that previous eating window that you were still maintaining at. So when and how often should you take an intermittent fasting break? Breaks should be a normal part of your process. They help reduce the loss of lean muscle mass when you continue eating the right amounts of protein and working out and moving your body. Breaks give your body and mind a chance to reset and recover while helping reduce stress and mental fatigue. Breaks increase adherence and excitement for future intermittent fasts. So how long should this break last? Remember, the key is to take a break, not quit altogether. Some people are good with a week off during a vacation or a trip. Others are good with a few weeks off and then they hop right back in. The important thing is to remember that a break is not a free-for-all with food. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you is before you take a break, give yourself a deadline of when you will restart. That way you don't go on a break forever and stop intermittent fasting. I want you to journal how your intermittent fasting journey is going and how you're feeling at the end of our 90 days together. Look back at your initial goals from the beginning of the jumpstart. How did you do? How much progress have you made? What things are now important to you as you move forward in your intermittent fasting journey? Journal any new goals you want to pursue next and any current reflections you're having as you complete this course. What are you most proud of? What was the most challenging and how did you overcome it? What obstacles did you face and how did you overcome those? How are you feeling? Don't forget to retake that intermittent fasting self-assessment again to see how far you've come. I've linked it down below right where you're already watching this video. Be sure to share your wins and your transformations with us. So now you know how to safely work towards a maintenance intake and flexible fasting and eating windows on your healthy eating journey. You know how to spot if you're at risk for an intermittent fasting crash and burn, and I've also shared the top 6 signs it might be time to take a dieting break. You also have the secret to getting back on track because you know the one powerful thing you need to do before you take a dieting break. This is super important because we all know sustainability will win out in the long run. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider giving it a big thumbs up so it can spread and help my channel grow. If you've got a question or a comment, please leave it down below. And if you're hungry for more intermittent fasting content, I've got a great video for you I'll leave right here. Aww.